Hi, good morning. I'm Sheila Maria. I am a psychic medium. Wonderful to talk to you. This morning, I am going to be a message from my wonderful guide, Orion, his view of psychic abilities. So I'm going to bring him in. He's got a very strong energy and we'll see what he's got to say. And if you enjoy this, please would you consider liking, sharing, subscribing. See you in a minute. Hello, greetings. And today I would like to talk with you about what you view as being psychic abilities. In my days as a teacher in Atlantis, we were always aware of non-verbal communication. It was far quicker to transmit messages through the ether to our loved ones and friends in the colonies. It was much more efficient than wasting essential energy trying to reach people by more traditional means. And from our vantage point, verbal speech is traditional, but it is not efficient. And I would like all of you to recognize that the psychic abilities that you covet are already present now. They are already there. Where do you think you get a lot of your thoughts from? Why is it that you suddenly have an epiphany or you suddenly see things in a different way? Of course, some of these thoughts are not of use to you and they are received by those around you that are at a different place. But some of these thoughts are of great use to you and are received from beings like myself. We do not believe that you would take all the credit for the ideas that you have. And I say this in jest, of course. I will say to you quite simply, it is the most efficient method of communicating that the universe has. I would also like to talk to you about the gift that you call clairvoyance, which roughly translates as clear seeing. And I will say that the universe sees everything because the universe is everything. And so why is it that you as an individual think that your imagination is not good enough as a tool for the universe to use? Why is it that every other life form in the whole of creation transmits and receives images in some particular way and has a visual from their perspective? And so we will say to you that the idea that your imagination is not productive enough or vivid enough to be a carrier of telepathic or thought transferred information, this is an egoic want. This is a childish demand that you should be given something in a way which is so obvious that you could then present it as being supernatural evidence to another. But why should it be more relevant because it is received through means that you cannot prove? Why should it be more accurate because you yourself have had no hand in the retrieving or the understanding of the information? It does not make sense. The old idea on earth is that you should be able to prove everything you say. And yet you follow your governments, you follow your politicians, you follow your power leaders, and they are unable to prove anything that they say. And yet you follow them. You allow yourself to be controlled by them. You allow yourself to conform to the laws of their making that are illogical and completely unethical. And yet they cannot and do not prove without reasonable doubt everything that they say. So why do you doubt the impressions and the pictures and the knowings and the feelings that you have? Is that because you are not powerful enough in your life? Is that because if you were given prophetic visions, you would then see yourself as being more powerful as another who simply relied on the subtle hints of their intuition? And we will say it is in this way that the human being reveals their frailty, which is to believe that they must be different to everyone else in order to be powerful. We will say that the greatest power that you could possibly have is as a whole, is part of the collective. Wherever there is separation, there is therein no power. And so I will say to you that this idea of psychic abilities needing to be obvious, to be of relevance, is as illogical as anything within your formulated systems. And so I will say to you quite honestly, if you can accept what a liar says, why can you not accept what your intuition says? Will you sit there and say to me that you are not connected to your guides? Will you deny that you receive impressions most of the time that you cannot entirely say are from you? And of course, you will not deny that because you know it is not true. You know that you are psychic. It's just that you would like to be more so. And so, how do you become more than you are? Well, there is none other that can give this to you. You have to accept your worthiness. You have to accept that you are psychic to be more psychic. It is only when you recognize and value the subtlest of impressions that you receive that the vivacity of those impressions will strengthen. The channel, when she wishes to strengthen a client's clairvoyance, will automatically override their auric settings that cause them to doubt. But this only occurs for a short time. She will then give them permission to connect with me, and I will be so blunt that they cannot ignore the impressions that they get. And it is the decision to ignore the impressions that you get that hold you back in your life. It is not that the impressions were not psychic in their intent. It is not that their origination was not from spirit, because what is every soul within the body except spirit? And so I say to you, having psychic abilities is not only superly natural, it is logical, it is efficient. It is reality, because you are the universe, and the universe is always communicating with you through us, through them. We are all part of the same thing. And psychic is only one step further along from being physical. And so we say, benefit from your psychic abilities today by recognizing them. You are not blocked. You are just demanding. You are also not a child. You are an infinite being. So act as one, accept that you are one, and our messages will then become more obvious and they will hit home. We love you. Goodbye. Wow. Hello. My guide is very, very blunt. He was a priest in Atlantis. He was a teacher. And he is one of the most powerful guides that I have ever met, and he doesn't waste time. You are psychic. We are all psychic. But if you don't recognize yourself as being psychic, you will never get the proof. I would like to share something. I was in a private reading yesterday, and the analogy that they gave me to do with what we were discussing was given in the form of a 1990s movie star that I have got no time for. And all I will say, I have never mentioned this movie star. They don't do anything for me. And all I will say to you is, It was only in the giving of the analogy, the metaphor with that movie star's name, that the person burst out laughing and said, "Oh my God, so and so is known by that name. They liken this person to this movie star." I would not have been able to get that if I doubted it. I just deliver what I have. There's my guide with us now. If you want to learn about your psychic abilities, visit my website. I have readings, healings, clearings, and spirit center where I do monthly loads of different psychic classes, including intuitive mediumship, spirit communication, clairaudience, and a whole lot more besides. I would love to help you. Please click subscribe if you can. It would make so much difference to me and from the jolly blue giant Orion. Lots of love from us. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.